What's up, guys? Welcome to episode of Forge in the Fire. This show was specifically designed to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the journey that it takes to go through to eventually get to your destination and where you really want to be in life. So this one's actually going to be a solo episode, a little bit different than what the last few episodes have been about, but wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I had been going through and how I've been able to turn those around very quickly. I've talked about on some podcasts that I've been featured on of coming back from burnout, learning from that. And so just wanted to share a little bit about some of the journey that I had in the last year. So, so I built a business last year that was very automated. I had a great team working with me, and then things started changing when the market shifted. You know, I had to let people go. I had to, cut some very large losses on properties that I was going, or that I thought I was going to be making a lot of money on. I thought I was going to make multiple six figures on two of these deals, and it did not turn out that way at all. And if you're thinking, oh, well, just like another spoiled rich kid, stay with me for a second. And if you listen to any of the other episodes that I put out, you know that I come from very humble beginnings, and I have learned a lot along this journey that we have called life. So when everything happened, I got really down on myself. I put myself in a really negative place, and I couldn't find it in me to continue going. I was going through the motions, but I really wasn't living to my fullest potential. I was maybe playing at 25%, and that's probably even being generous. I was barely making calls. I was barely doing the work. I was just doing the busy work to make myself feel like I was actually doing something. And you can only really do that for so long until you just get kind of sick of yourself, or you can continue doing it forever, and your life is not going to get any better than it was before everything started kind of going downhill. You'll stay in this bad place, put yourself in a depression, and the more you beat yourself up, the worse your mental state gets. And so I went through that, and it was really, really tough to get through. But I've come out of it, and it's been really great. Especially in the last, I'd say 5-6 weeks, where I'm not in that place where I am feeling down on myself anymore. I'm not in this victim mentality where I'm thinking everything is, the sky's falling. I'm actually very optimistic and opportunistic about the future, and I'm very excited about what I've got going on. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some things that I have been doing to pull myself into a better state, and hopefully this will help you guys. So some of the lessons that I learned going through this is you can only sulk for so long. And what I mean by that is when something bad happens to you, sure, that you're allowed to feel how you want to feel about it. But if you stay there for too long, the longer that you stay in it, the harder it is to get out of it. So if you develop this framework of getting back to the basics and turning it around, building back the self-disciplines and the self-confidence that you need to make yourself feel better, I believe that you can turn yourself around in 2 weeks. Maybe not some things like grieving the death of a loved one or something like that. That's going to take a little bit more work. And there is a book that I actually recommend for that. It's called The Grief Recovery Handbook. That's one that I'm actually working through myself right now because my mom died. And I've talked about this in other episodes and other podcasts that I've been on. But when I went through that, I bottled everything up, and I ran from what I was broken by for so long that eventually I had to come back and face it. And you can only run from your problems for so long before it starts catching up to you. I mean, you can maybe run through your problems for the rest of your life. I'm only 27, so I can't really tell you that, you can't run from your problems for 80 years. But what I can tell you is that the more you run from your problems and you don't face them, the worse things get for you. Okay? So, getting back on track, when you're going through a hard place and you really can't get yourself to do the things that you really need to, One of the easiest ways that I have found, and I've done this many times, is getting back to a really strict morning routine. And some of those things that I do when I'm getting back into it is I'll read The Miracle Morning. It talks about, what is that? Journaling, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and one other thing. Read the book. Anywho, but running a morning routine, I believe, and there's other people out there that are much more successful than I, like Alex Hormozi, that preaches that you don't need a morning routine. But if you're in a shitty state of mind, I believe that you need something to build the discipline and the confidence to be able to get through the day, be able to continue trudging forward. Because ultimately, you have to have goals that you're working towards. If you don't, and you're trying to just wing it and run through life, you're not going to really live anything that's of substance or something that you're going to be very proud of at the end of the day. And so I believe that having the goals and then creating a morning routine that you can follow every single day will give you the confidence and the discipline that you need to start performing at a high level again, or if you're just getting started out, performing at a high level. The author in it talks about how when he started slipping on everything, his wife, she was about to, pretty much leave him, and also he wasn't making the money that he wanted to make. He was bored at work. He wasn't happy. And when he started doing this, his life started turning around and very quickly. And I've seen that happen many, many times for myself and for many other people that I know. And so creating the habits for the morning routine, and also something that I've been doing is called 75 Hard. And I've talked about this on my other episodes. Basically what this is it's a program that some people like him, some people don't. I really don't care if you don't like him, because I really do. And he's provided a lot of value in my life. His name is Andy Frisella. And yes, I name drop a lot because I learn from a lot of people. I'm not the smartest person on the earth. Definitely far from it. But I learned from a lot of people who are more successful than I am. And I adopt what they do that works. And so this program, 75 Hard, is 2 workouts a day, one of them in the morning, or not, that's not time specified. 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each, and one of them has to be outside. So I lift weights in the morning. I walk my dogs in the evening. Sometimes I'll go play pickleball for 45 minutes. Sometimes I'll go hit golf balls. But the point is I'm exercising. Sure, maybe somebody's going to say that walking is an exercise, but I don't really walk at like a slow pace. Like I'm fast walking, and I also need to get my dogs out. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone right there. My dogs have a lot of energy. They need to go out, so I'd take them on that walk. The other thing that 75 Hard is you have to take a progress photo every single day, stick to a diet, which you can decide what the diet is, but the point of it is to cut out some of the foods that you shouldn't really be eating, like pizza and really highly processed foods, just stuff that is really not good for you. Cutting out sugar, no alcohol, and drinking a gallon of water every single day, plus reading 10 pages every single day of a personal development book. Now, it can't be an audio book. You have to actually physically read the pages. It is challenging. I'm about 34 days in, and I'm starting to feel this absolute soreness in my body. But I set this intention when I very first started this. I'm going to make it through this challenge. There is nothing that's going to stop me from making it through this challenge. And I am dead set that I am going to make it through this challenge. So when you are setting goals and you're setting an intention, have that definiteness in your mind that you can achieve it. And that's what I'm going to do. Another thing that I have adopted in there is called the power list. It's 5 things that you can do for your job or your business every single day. This mainly works better for like business people and salespeople than it does for like if you're working for a W-2 job. But if you're just starting out like your own business and you also maybe have a W-2 job, this might apply to you. The power list is maximum of 5 things that you can do every single day to move the needle forward. And it doesn't have to be the same things every day, but the important part of it is to create 5 things that move the needle every day that can either generate revenue or move you towards generating revenue. And so for mine, usually it's going to be like making content, making sales calls, scheduling an appointment with this person, having a phone call with this person that's a good connection for me, things like that. Or one of my other ones that I'm doing right now is working on my 12-week year goals, which I'll get to in a second. And so with the 75 hard and also the power list, it's giving me a discipline that's also helping me translate that into confidence that's helping me move forward. I'm very optimistic about the future. We're going to have a lot of great things happen in 2023, despite all the bad things that happened in 2022, where the market took a dump, took a big loss on a lot of properties. I know a lot of people that lost a lot of money on properties and on their stocks and a lot of other things. Bad things are going to always happen, but the only thing that you can really control is your mind and how you react to things. And another thing that this kind of all leads to is the discipline and doing the work. You have to be disciplined and you have to do the work. And if you can do that, usually you can become a success, I believe. And whatever that success is in your mind. But for this, we're talking about business and monetary success. And the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about of what I'm doing is called the 12-week year. 12-week year is a great book. The premise of it is taking all of your big yearly goals and compressing, and instead of going for a yearly goal where you get to quarter 3 and you've missed all your goals because you thought you had all this time to get it done from quarter 1 to quarter 3, and in quarter 3 and quarter 4, you're running as hard as you can to try and get closer to your goal, but you completely missed it and botched it. So you reset it for a lower goal that you can achieve by the end of the year. And instead of having that whole mentality, you're taking goals and you're setting them in 12-week increments. It can be a personal goal, it can be a business goal. Read the book. It's up to you to kind of decide on what the goals are going to be, but you can also do it for different facets of life. So if your goal is to make X amount of dollars and increase your spirituality, and it's also to lose weight or gain muscle, then you're going to build leading indicators and actions that you can do that will get you closer to that goal. Because ultimately, a dollar amount, a weight loss or a weight gain goal, those are lag indicators. Those are not things that you're going to do right away. And if you think that you can just do that in one day, you're going to get very discouraged and you're not going to really go towards it. So if you create a goal and you're working towards it without a plan, chances are your plan is going to fail because you don't have one. So you're not going to be able to achieve the goals that you have. So by creating not only a set of goals, but a plan to get there, it will be much more effective in you being able to execute, because you'll know exactly what you're going to do every single day, every single week, and you can plan accordingly. So you take your goals, you set them in 12-week increments. You don't set it for the whole year. You set them 12 weeks at a time. You take 1 week to rest and recharge, reset your goals, and then run for the next 12 weeks. And I don't mean actually run, but you get the point. And so that is how I have been able to turn around the things that maybe I was beating myself up for not doing as well as I wanted to last year, having to let people go because my mental game wasn't there. And it's really difficult to employ people when you're not in a good state to be able to lead people. It's actually really bad for your team. If the leader is not leading effectively and the leader is in a horrible mind space, how in the world do you expect that company or that team to be successful? You just can't. So I put myself in this place where I was kicking myself while I was down for, call it 6 months in a row. And, I had to reset, recharge, and I stayed down longer than I wanted to and far longer than I should. But I was also working through some other things in therapy, and I was also working on some other projects and kind of chasing too many rabbits, if I'm being real honest. So if I was you, I wouldn't do what I did. I would do what I've done in the past and get back to your habits, set new goals, create new disciplines, and start running towards them. because ultimately you can do whatever you set your mind to, and your thoughts become your reality. So if you're thinking negative thoughts, you're going to create more negative energy in your life. How are you supposed to create abundance? How are you supposed to create any sort of success if you're thinking about negative shit all the time? You just can't. So, moral of the story, habits, discipline, higher power, and creating a vision and building a plan to get there. That's how I would get out of it again. If I were to do this whole thing over again, that's what I would do. And that's all I got to say about that. So I hope this helped you. Hadn't ever really done one of these episodes where I wasn't like introducing my story and everything like that. So I just wanted to push this out, and hope you all like it. Hope you all have a great day, and I hope this helps you. If you've got any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram, Alec_Lebeck. Love to kind of help you figure out what you need to do to turn this thing around. Or if you're going through it and you try these tactics that I just talked about and you start seeing your life turn around, send me a message. I'd love to hear about it and hear how, you started out and where you ended up and how you're feeling. And, those success stories of helping other people is why I decided to do this, because I know where I've been. I know how I was feeling when I was down. It wasn't great, and I feel amazing. And I started attracting really great things. I've got some really big things in the works, in partnerships that we're working on that will hopefully translate into a lot of money and a lot of success, I guess, which will also translate into more happiness for me this year. So really excited about it, because 6-8 weeks ago, I really didn't think those things were possible. I was just in my pity party. And once I started taking care of me, doing the things that I needed to execute, and ultimately, I've been taking a lot more at bats, good things started happening very quickly, and they can for you as well. So with that said, I'm going to go make dinner. I hope you all have a great night.